Well, welcome to our September 22nd, 2015 Ogden City Council meeting. Let the roll call reflect that all council members are present, and pursuant to 52-4-207, Vice Chair White is attending with us electronically. Are you with us, Vice Chair White?
I am with you.
Okay. First item is approval of minutes of the regular meeting of July 28th, 2015. Councilmember Garner.
Yes, Chair Heyer, I have reviewed those minutes and found them to be correct.
And of the work session of July 28th, 2015. Councilmember Stevens.
Yes, Mr. Chair, they're correct, and I make a motion that we adopt the minutes.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Stevens, seconded by Councilmember Garner to approve the minutes. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, next item is our common consent portion of our agenda. One item, fiscal year 2016 budget amendment, miscellaneous appropriations. Do we have a motion?
Chair Heyer, I'll make a motion that we set a public hearing for October 6, 2015 for the 2016 budget amendment.
I second it.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Garner, seconded by Councilmember Stevens, to set a public hearing for October 6th, 2015, concerning that budget amendment. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed?
Aye.
Okay. Next item is reports from administration. First is water line maintenance amendment. We'll hear from Mr. Moffett. Welcome.
Chair Heyer, members of the council, it's a pleasure to be here tonight. I'm grateful for Mayor Caldwell and Mr. Johnson for allowing me to represent the administration tonight on this subject. So what we're here to talk about tonight is an ordinance change that really stems way back in Ogden's history. Originally, when water lines and service lines were installed in the city, there was something called a curb stop that was installed behind curb, and that curb stop's purpose was to delineate ownership. And so that allowed the meter to be moved to different locations depending upon the homeowner's preference or what was convenient in terms of legal and geographical constraints. And this way of thinking of ownership was there for a long time, and in 2002 an ordinance came along that kind of changed the language from curb stop to water meter. Now, that seemed like a small change, and at the time, the water meter was delineated as the ownership boundary, and that meter was a foot behind curb. However, what that did was it kind of ignored the historical delineation of ownership that was marked by a curb stop. And so that, whether it was intentional or not, it was on the books for a while before it was realized, and that was earlier this year when there was a discussion that came up regarding a line break that happened in an area where there was some conflict. So I reviewed it with legal. Legal said, the interpretation of this is kind of problematic, so maybe we should look at changing it. We decided to honor the interpretation that was presented to us until we could get the ordinance changed to make it more clear. So that's what we're here tonight. Tonight's ordinance reaffirms the historical boundary of ownership, which is the curb stop, or the water meter, depending upon which situation presents itself. So that's the main purpose of this ordinance. There are some other things that are being cleaned up while we're here, just to make things clearer and other parts of the ordinances that might create confusion. And so that's basically what the ordinance proposed to tonight is. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to explain that.
Any questions for Kenton? We did cover this in our work session very well. Thank you for the information prior.
Thank you.
Okay. Any discussion, or we'll entertain a motion?
I'll make a motion that we adopt proposed ordinance 2015-43.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Gochner, seconded by Councilmember Blair, to adopt ordinance 2015-43. This is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Blair?
Aye.
Councilmember Garner?
Aye.
Councilmember Gochner?
Aye.
Councilmember Stevens?
Aye.
Councilmember Wicks?
Aye.
Vice Chair White?
Aye.
Chair Heyer?
Aye. That passes. Next item is Kiesel Community Development Project Area. Who will be, oh, here we are. Brandon,
Nice.
welcome back.
Thank you. I'll use that again. So it is, again, with pleasure that I propose to you the Kiesel Community Development Project area. In this case, we have two items for your consideration. One is Ordinance 2015-44, which adopts the Community Development Project Area Plan, and also Resolution 2015-14, which approves an interlocal agreement. So prior to this meeting, pursuant to Section 17C of the Utah State Code, the agency board approved by resolution both the final community development plan and also the interlocal agreement between the agency and the city. So in accordance to 17C, it's also required that the community adopts an ordinance which adopts that plan, which was approved by the agency, and also adopts a resolution that approves the interlocal agreement. So that's the proposal before you tonight, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Cooper? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, there's two items that we need to resolve tonight, so do we have a motion?
I will go ahead and make a motion that we adopt proposed ordinance 2015-44.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Blair, seconded by Councilmember Gochner to adopt ordinance 2015-44. This is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Garner,
Aye.
Councilmember Gochner,
Aye.
Councilmember Stevens,
Aye.
Councilmember Wicks,
Aye.
Councilmember Blair,
Aye.
Vice Chair White,
Aye.
Chair Heyer.
Aye. And that passes. And the next item?
And Chair Heyer, I'll make a motion that we adopt proposed resolution 2015-14.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Garner, seconded by Councilmember Blair to adopt ordinance 2015-14. This also is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Gochner,
Aye.
Councilmember Stevens,
Aye.
Councilmember Wicks,
Aye.
Councilmember Blair,
Aye.
Councilmember Garner,
Aye.
Vice Chair White,
Aye.
Chair Heyer.
Aye. That also passes. Okay, the next item we have on our agenda is retention and recruitment of sworn public safety personnel. And I've got to say, I feel very safe here tonight.
If you make the correct vote. Chair Heyer, I'd like to ask something to begin with, a little out of the ordinary for a council meeting. It's not very often that we have this many members of our public safety family here. We have many police here. We have a couple of firefighters here. With your permission, I'd like to suggest that we invite them to stand and show appreciation for their great service they give.
Great suggestion. Would you all please stand and...
They don't always get thank yous, and sometimes they get the opposite, and I want them to know how much I appreciate them and what they do for our great city. And I honor their choice of employment because I feel a whole lot safer the fact that they're willing to do the job. We come before you with several issues that have plagued not only the police department but the entire city for some time. We've been unable to give consistent raises probably in the last 13, 14 years. Some of that to do with the economy, some of that to do with other issues. As a result, many of our employees are well below where they ought to be for the time that they have served here. To compound that, we have, in the police department especially, we have a national movement that is anti-police, and it's making it very hard for us to hire new police officers. This is nationwide, the problem. We currently have 11 openings. We have one that's given their retirement notice. We have 2 resignations. We have 3 that are with their field training officer, and we have 5 at post at the academy trying to qualify to be able to come and be an officer. So we view that as that right now we're down 22 positions that really aren't filled or won't be filled here shortly. We learned from the chief a few weeks ago that we had upwards of 38 or more that had applied to other agencies. That concerned us greatly because that would dramatically impact the ability to provide police services here in our city. Salt Lake City Police, Unified Police, and West Valley Police combined have about 90 openings currently. If you add 2 more cities in Salt Lake and you add the Highway Patrol, there's over 200 police openings just in those agencies. This is a nationwide problem that the action we're doing today is simply a Band-Aid, but it's going to be a long-term problem. You add to that when the state changed the retirement, so those hired after a certain date are in a much worse scenario of what they can get for retirement. I think we're going to have a real problem on our hands as a nation if we don't turn around the current feelings that people have for our police officers. We approximate that when we bring a new officer on, we spend about $40,000 the first year in just training. And if you think of that considerable investment, we have 140 plus sworn, Chief, 143 sworn officers. As we start to replace those, start adding up that $40,000. And it really takes, I think, an officer several years to kind of develop their contacts here, to kind of get to know the city, to learn how to be a police officer, to learn how to be able to react to different scenarios. So we have a problem we need to take care of, and we have that problem citywide. But the immediate need, because of the amount of police openings around the state, is dramatic. So we propose putting the police department back into a STEP program. There will be 12 steps. The first step is the entry step when they first get hired. And that will be approximately another $1 million per year for the city. We propose that we fund the first 6 months out of the fund balance, that we take $500,000, which what it'll cost to do the first 6 months out of the fund balance. We propose that it be effective January 1, 2016. It'll actually be probably effective the week before with the way the pay periods line up. With this joint resolution, the mayor and the city council agreed. If they agree to this joint resolution, it accomplishes the following. Number one, it approves a pay plan for sworn police officers and directs staff to prepare the necessary documents for formal approval and implementation of the plan. Number two, it directs the staff to prepare the necessary documents for the council to fund the STEP pay plan for sworn personnel prior to January 1, 2016. And three, it directs staff to prepare a similar pay plan for sworn firefighters for considering during the F 2017 budget process. I may add, it's not included specifically in the joint resolution, but we also have plans to continue in the outline years to help every one of our employees to be able to get caught up to where they ought to be. Our employees are our greatest asset. They're more important than any building. They're more important than any piece of equipment. Our employees are what makes this city stand out from all the others. And so I strongly encourage you to approve this joint resolution. I want you to know that this is a delight to me to be able to get to this point where we can do this. And it's because of the deep respect that I have for those who serve in this city. We have great employees. I'd like to turn just a few minutes to Mayor Caldwell and then back to you for resolution.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, Mark. And a couple of quick thoughts and then a couple of quick thank yous. Safe communities and a healthy economy are something we have been working extremely hard on over the last number of years, and even received national recognition for some of those efforts. And we're real proud of what the city's done and the progress we've made in those areas. But without safe streets and neighborhoods, all of that hard work will be unwound, and I'm not willing to allow that to happen on my watch. So on that note, I appreciate all the work that our department directors and staff have put into this. This has been many months that they've worked on this, tried to find ways to help get this funded and stabilized. It's been the Compensation and Wage Committee have worked really diligently on this. We've recognized this was a real emergency, and I want to appreciate all of their efforts for getting us to this point. And again, I want to add my thank you to all of those that serve Ogden City and have that as a priority: safe, healthy communities. You all do very dangerous and difficult work, and I admire you all for showing up every single day and doing that. And we certainly want to tip our cap to everything that you guys do. I've considered a lot of you friends. I've come to get to know you in some very unique environments and through some very difficult situations we've had to address that nobody would choose to address. But you're the best among us, and we appreciate your effort and commitment to Ogden City, and hope that this will help back that up and make some of these issues go away. At least you know you have our bedrock support and appreciation for everything that you guys do. So thank you to everybody involved to get us there.
Thanks, Mayor. Appreciate that. The agenda does not specifically call out public input, but there are many of you here, and we would like to honor you by hearing you. So we will accept public input on this item. And if you have something you'd like to say concerning it, please come forward and limit your comments to 3 minutes. And don't forget your name and address.
Okay, my name is Sebastian Benitez. Nice to meet you guys. I like you guys. I really appreciate your job. And I like Mike. Really appreciate your job too. I am not your enemy, okay? I want to apologize for my broken English. I am proud about this city. I am proud about this officer. A few weeks ago, 4 officers stopped at my house, and they told me, "Are you the guy on the picture?" about my sign, and I said, "Yes." They explained to me what happened, what is the issue we have in Ogden about the police department. And they said how you can help. And I told these guys, I will do whatever I can on the law and in the right way. And I contact with the standard examiner reporter, Kathy and Rivera, and I told him I am worried because they told me 35 officers are leaving, and that is a lot. And they explained to me why they want to leave. And I want to really appreciate the reporters. They got a really good job. And everything is confidential. And Kathy is a really great reporter, and Rivera too. I asked to keep in confidence the names about the officers. Really appreciate that. In 2001, when I moved here in Ogden, one officer stopped me by Weber State University, and he asked me that was 4 in the morning. I was driving to Salt Lake because I worked there. And he asked me for my license, registration. He was really nice. He was, I think, the perfect guy. He's still in the Ogden City Department. After that, I want to tell you guys, you earn it. You are our hero. You are my hero. Because this city is going down, and I think you are the best guy taking care of this one. I suggest to hire a new officer, be a Spanish-speaking guys. When I walk on East Central area, you know, the danger place, they speak with me in Spanish. And they said, we don't want to talk with the white people. And they point me, who is the drug dealers? Who is making problem? And they told me about the problem happened in East Central. And so many people cannot vote there. And I told the guys, do it the right way. Please, when you are hiring, do it Spanish-speaking people, because they will speak with the guys, with the Spanish-speaking guys.
Thank you, Sebastian.
Thank you so much. And
anyone else? Going?
My name is Kenny Miller. Work for Ogden City Fire, and I'm also the president of Local 1654 Ogden Professional Firefighters. And we were briefed today by our chief. He's been holding meetings the last 3 days about this joint resolution. He briefed us today to kind of let us know kind of the ins and outs of it and what was going on. And some of you may know me from, probably 10 years ago when we first started asking for a pay plan in place. That's how long it's kind of taken us. So the last 2 years, we've made big strides on getting a pay plan in place, which I thank city administration, city council, and then all the department heads because they've given us a voice. They met with us, and we were able to express our concerns with what was been going on. When he let us know about the issue that's going on with the police department, it kind of concerns us also because there are a few calls where we rely on the police department to show up and make the scene safe for us. If we don't have experienced police officers on scene, not only does it make it unsafe for them, it makes it unsafe for us and the community involved. We need to be able to recruit, hire, and retain these police officers to continue serving our city because it benefits us as fire department also. The chief also mentioned that there also is a plan to address all the other departments. Correct me if I'm wrong, the fire department starting fiscal year 16-17, which starts July 1st, once again, another step in the right direction. We don't have as big of an exodus as the police department does, but we do have guys that leave for other departments because they can see where they're at. Currently right now, when we get new employees in, we can't tell them where they're going to be in 5 or 10 years. If we have a pay plan in place, we can let them know if you show up and do your job, get the certifications you need to do, act professional, because every single one of these employees in here is a professional. Then you have a plan in place and you can see where you can go. If we're able to recruit, hire, and retain these employees, the city's going to be better protected. Everybody's going to be a lot safer. And like I said, it's a step in the right direction because we need to solve the problem that's happening right now, which is trying to get these police officers to stay here in Ogden and help us out. If we have this many police officers leave, we're not going to have anybody here to protect us in the city. And not only does it affect them, but it affects us as fire and then all the citizens in the city. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Council. I'm Mike Ashman, the police chief. I just would like to tell you that I've been here nearly 30 years. I start my 29th year next month. And this is the most strange and difficult time that I've seen policing in that period of time. We face some significant challenges. In spite of those challenges, however, our department has been able to work diligently towards a 13% reduction in Part 1 crimes over the course of the last 3 years. By fixing this employment issue, recruiting issue, and retention issue, our commitment as a department is to continue to push for that same goal with crime reduction and making our city safe. Our officers are committed to this city, believe me. Even the ones that have applied to go down to Salt Lake or the Salt Lake Valley for more money have expressed that their desire is really to stay here. And so your support of this resolution is significant to our ability to maintain the strides that we've made here over the course of the last 3 years. This is a serious issue, and I appreciate your recognition of what the magnitude of this is. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Johnson, members of the council, my name is Travis Gerfen. I'm the president of the Ogden Police Benefit Association. I would like to just take the opportunity to thank you guys on behalf of the OPBA, on behalf of the police department, and on behalf of our families. I want to thank you guys for considering this. It's an important issue. Knowing what you're going to be making, it impacts your family. Every uniformed officer in this room, including the fire department, they're my family. And we just wanted to thank you guys again from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Okay. Council members, do we have a motion?
I make a motion that we adopt proposal joint resolution 2015-27.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Stevens, seconded by Councilmember Garner, to adopt proposed resolution 2015-27. This is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Stevens.
With honor, I place a yes vote.
Councilmember Wicks.
Aye.
Councilmember Blair.
Aye.
Councilmember Garner.
Aye.
Councilmember Gochner.
Aye with the exclamation point.
Vice Chair White.
Aye.
Chair Heyer.
I also vote aye. This is something I think is very important. I think of my own self, and I am a coward. I could not do what you do. And I'm grateful that you are brave and are able to protect my family and myself and the rest of our community. We rely heavily on you. And when the tide started to turn in the country to be kind of anti-police, I couldn't believe what was happening. I just salute you for what you do, and I'm grateful that we can do this for you.
Public safety in our community is such a high priority, not just for our community, but for all communities. And that's part of the reason why we lose officers and what I consider the cream of the crop to some of the other communities, because we train them so well here locally. Personally, I value our public safety officers and understand the need to ensure the safety of our citizens. And that is a very high priority for all of us. And I understand the importance of maintaining a well-qualified workforce. I think this is essential. And we need to also ensure that we have experienced and seasoned officers who understand and truly understand the specific needs of our community. A seasoned officer who is out there, who knows the community, knows the contacts, knows where to, look for situations that others may not notice because they just haven't been here and don't know the situation. And so with deepest respect and appreciation, I'm grateful for all of you. Grateful that I live in Ogden, and grateful that you are my friends, my coworkers. I've been in the trenches in some situations that I don't think others will understand truly what you see. With my 6 years in the emergency department, I saw some pretty awful things that I know you guys see also. So it is with full respect that I voted this way. And just with Mr. Benita's comments of suggesting that we hire individuals who are Spanish speaking, I would love it if individuals who speak fluent Spanish apply for our positions. And we look forward to that, and hopefully others will encourage them to come and apply. I think it would be a great asset for our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
I appreciate all that you do. I look on the television each night and see some of the stories that are out there, and it's just not the characteristics of our men and women who work for Ogden City. And I think Mark Johnson mentioned it right, is that our most valuable assets, and we have many assets, we have machinery and we have buildings, but the most valuable asset is our employees. And we have very professional employees. As I looked at this resolution, this is a unified and a teamwork resolution. This was under the direction of the administration, presented to the directors, and they saw the value of this program, and so they're on board in speaking for a unified program that we would have in Ogden City. The City Council is unified in this program. But the most important thing is that the employees of Ogden City are unified in working as a team effort. As I listened to some of the comments, the many comments that were coming out were saying, we need to have a paid program in the city. And now we have that structure by which we can actually give direction, and our officers and our firemen and also our city employees will know what direction they can go each and every year when they hire on. Each of you are a valuable asset to our city. We can't say enough thank yous for the job that you do. And again, Mark Johnson mentioned that we want our police officers, when they go out the door in the morning, to come back through that door in the evening. We want our fire people, our firemen, to do the same thing. And we want our employees to do the same thing. But we need to provide a program by which they can supply the needs for their own family and be satisfied in what they're doing. And if you have that satisfaction in your job, then you'll do a professional job for Ogden City, and I appreciate that. Ogden is a better place because of the work that you do, and I appreciate that, and I say thank you.
Any other comments?
I'll just say, we implemented the pay for performance. When there's no money put into that fund, that doesn't work. And I don't think it's good public policy for us to keep training public safety employees to only lose them to other jurisdictions. It's not protecting our greatest asset or that investment that we make. And kudos and expressions of appreciation just simply don't pay the bills. And I think that's really what it boils down to. We don't want to have a situation where we have inadequate officers to respond to calls. That's scary. I don't think we want to lose the improvements we've made in some of the issues with crime in our community, and so I think it's just good policy to protect our investment and our investment in employees. So that's why I support this.
Thank you. Any other comments?
I'll be quick. There are not enough words to express our gratitude and our admiration for the job that you do every day and the professional manner in which you do it. And I'm thankful that we were able to make this step. And it has been neat the last few years to be able to take these steps and try to bridge that gap of where you should be and the compensation you should be receiving. But it has been an honor for me and for all council members, and to be able to work with the administration and to go to bat for you, because you go to bat for us every day. And as a resident, as a father, as a business owner, I can't thank you enough for everything that you do to keep me and my family and our community safe. And I'm just grateful that there were options for us to take to try and help and show you our support. So thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to add that I salute you all. So.
Okay, we don't want to leave Vice Chair White out. Anything you'd like to say, Vice Chair White? I assume she's still with
And
us.
I just want to say that I'm sad I can't be there in person to look at each one of you, and thank you for being such great stewards of our community. Thank you.
All right. Well, we'll move on to the next item on our agenda then, which is public comments. This is an opportunity to address the council regarding your concerns or ideas. Please state your name and address for the record and limit your comments to 3 minutes.
I am here again, Sebastian Benitez. I handle one copy from some neighbor between and Taylor Avenue, between 46 and Country Hill. My only request is please listen these neighbors. They are worried about speeding in that street. And two guys are here right now, and they want to know why Ogden City do not take care very well this situation. If we need radar, speed, what is it, street radar, screen over there, whatever it is, I will donate that. If the city don't have the money to that one, I offer my donation for these neighbors. Not for both, because they need. I think we don't need to wait somebody die, some children die there before take action. That is my only comment.
Great, thank you.
My name is Gary Bell, 4551 Taylor Avenue. Please excuse the way I'm dressed. I just came over from the cannery. I mean no disrespect. I want to thank Sebastian. I've known Sebastian since 2001, and he's a good friend, and I think he's the future of our community. I represent some of the folks. I didn't know I'd be speaking tonight, but I represent them from 4200 South to 4600 South on Taylor Avenue. The volume of traffic has increased appreciably over the last 15 years, as has the danger of the highway. It's gone from about 25 miles an hour up to about 45 miles an hour. And it's getting a little bit dangerous. We've asked over the last 15 years if the city would provide stop signs and or speed bumps, and every year it's been the same. That is that we can't work it into the mayor's budget. And so I would ask tonight that we adopt some kind of a method where we could do this like a sinking fund of some sort, where we put a small amount in each year. And then in 5 or 10 years, we'll have enough to buy a stop sign or a speed bump or whatever we need. And I'd be glad to put up the $100 tonight to start that fund. The other item I would mention is that the Skyline Drive between 4200 South and 4600 South has been on status for the last 15 years. If that were put through, that would alleviate a lot of traffic and a lot of the problems. Taylor Avenue is meant as a residential road and not as a arterial highway. The city, we would ask that you condemn that property. I understand the owner, who is sole owner of that property, has been reluctant over the last few years, but you have the power of eminent domain. And I understand you can do that with just compensation. I have worked in eminent domain myself the last 32 years for the federal government, and I know some of the drawbacks to it. And so I would encourage you to start on that as well, and to set aside some funds so that just compensation can be done, and that so that we can have Skyline Drive opened up, and that section of town will be alleviated greatly with its traffic and its problems. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Bell. Anyone else?
Lou Wheelwright, and I'm here representing the Ogden Airport Users Association. And thank you for those that showed up at the picnic last week. We welcome you there. I've been at the Ogden Airport about 45 years, and progress is necessary, change is necessary. But one of the things I think is also necessary is that we get a consensus as we go forward, and as you address the plans that you're going to see after this meeting, because the instructions I got, that really wasn't a public input meeting. They've done a good job. It's and I think if the future would actually support that, it's going to be good. But I think number one that needs to be taken care of is, the users are there now and the businesses are there now. They're actually paying probably the bulk of the city, airport expenses. And as users, we feel like we're getting, kind of left out on this whole process. So we'd encourage you to, look at the Airport Advisory Committee, empower that a little bit more. There's some good people on that. And also, as the Users Association, we'll also stay in touch with you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, I'm Amy Averett. I'm the president of the newly formed nonprofit organization known as Utah Skateboarding Association.
Can you speak into the mic? I'm sorry, just pull that down.
I'll
Great,
try.
thank you.
There, is that better?
Yes.
Okay. I'll repeat. Hi, my name is Amy Averett. I am the president of the newly formed nonprofit organization Utah Skateboarding Association. It is our purpose to consolidate resources in order to benefit skateboarders and skateboarding supporters in communities throughout the entire state. Our first project is working with the numerous concerned citizens and skate park patrons of the city towards improving the opportunities for the action sports athletes in the city. In so doing, we ask to form a skate park advocacy committee with members of the City Council in order to gain a complete understanding of the present conditions and to make progress towards a brighter future for the citizens and Ogden City as a whole. At present, the existing skate park at Lauren Farr Park, which was built 15 years ago to accommodate approximately 20% of its current users, is in need of repair and revamping. Ogden's population has simply outgrown the existing facilities. Furthermore, the BMX athletes currently have no concrete park in which they are permitted to ride at all, so the Lauren Farr Park has become a joint use facility. Our end goal for the process is to build a top-notch facility in a highly visible location central to Ogden and to make it one of the best parks in the entire western region, comparable to Haley, Idaho, or Park City skate parks. It is our vision to bring about a level of awareness, acceptance, and welcoming embrace by our city to recognize the needs of this ever-growing demographic. We intend to work with said committee and to achieve not only an increased value to these athletes, but to the patrons who enjoy spectating and supporting these ever-widening sports, and even more so, an increased value to Ogden City itself. For the city that has everything within reach, we want Ogden to become recognized as a progressive hotspot for these action sports. Please help us facilitate this progressive effort by granting us the committee. And lastly, we want to extend to you an invitation to come and participate in our Arts in the Parks event, skateboard contest, BMX demo, and awareness event this coming Saturday at Lauren Farr Park from 2 to 6 p.m. Please join us and the numerous sponsoring local businesses and showing support for these highly talented athletes. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate the invitation that you've given us as well. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. We'll look for comments from our mayor.
Yeah, a couple quick things. I appreciate everybody from the public that comes and gets involved in this. That's how your voice is heard, and I know this is not an unintimidating thing to stand up and do, so props to everybody that will come and get involved in the process. I also want to thank the council and staff. Big mid-year corrections like this are extremely difficult to do, and it's a very heavy lift, and I appreciate everybody's support in getting us to this point. And for the other employees, Kenny, appreciated your comments. And I think everybody knows it took many, many years for us to get into this position. And I hope you all know and feel that we're committed to addressing all of these employee concerns and doing what we can. If I could wave, there was a mayor's magic wand I could wave, this would have been one of the first things we corrected when we came in. The reality is what it is, and we'll work within that reality to continue to address it, but know that everybody's a priority. And we really do respect and appreciate what everybody does. And I'll end on a unique positive note. We had a huge weekend downtown with Harvest Moon bringing in 20,000 people. For just that one event, I want to thank our special events staff, and in particular, Kim Bouchard and Heidi Hardwood, who have done hard work at that. 10 years of literal blood, sweat, and tears to produce that. I've seen all three of those things. So we appreciate that. We also had the Military Ball, Xterra Nationals, Weaver State's homecoming. So an enormous thank you to all the volunteers and people in the community that make those things possible. And a special call out to our own Councilwoman, Caitlin Gochner, who won the ladies division for her age group for Xterra. I think that's great, and you're setting a great example. So congratulations on that. And that's it for me. Thanks.
Thanks, Mayor. Any comments from council members?
What age group was that, Caitlin?
Thank you for not mentioning that.
By design.
I'd like to make a suggestion that maybe Mr. Bell could meet with you, Mayor, and the police chief to maybe see if there's some corrections up in that area.
Actually, I'd like to piggyback on that. Is there some sort of update we could give these people on Skyline Drive?
or Taylor?
It's on the plan, and it was funded by WACOG to look at, so they're going through the engineering and planning part of that right now. So that will be a relief, but those are things that do take time, and I can double check and get back to people on where we are with the progress and expected construction date for Skyline. The issues with Taylor are engineering has to look at that, and now that we're aware of them, we're certainly happy to go up and make it a priority to address that. I see that. I live close to that area as well. You know, that's a diversion to get around going through the event center and some other places. So we're happy to look at that. And like I said earlier, you're bringing this to the council's attention and our attention. We've got our public works in here listening as well, and we'll certainly look at all the options we have available to us.
And also along Taylor Avenue, my daughter lives right near there. I drive by that street often. I've seen the little signs on the front lawn that please ask people to slow down, that it is not a highway through that neighborhood to get from Weber State over to 4600 South. But also I want to shout out to all the help that was there for our Harvest Moon Festival, but also with the New Hope suicide prevention walk that occurred Saturday. I was truly touched by the police officers and everyone who helped to control the traffic while we had over 1,000 walkers that were there just to bring awareness to the prevention of suicide. So thank you for your support on Saturday.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Have a motion by Councilmember Gochner, seconded by Councilmember Wicks to adjourn. All in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, as a reminder, there will be a city council work session held immediately following this city council meeting, and the items to be discussed are on the agenda.